For years, Holiday Matsuri has been one of my favorite anime conventions. Its big events and beautiful venue pull me back to Florida every year, but 2024 marks the birth of a new hallmat, in that the beautiful venue I loved so much has been replaced by a Florida government building. But let me back up. So previously, Holiday Matsuri, or Hallmat, was held at the Orlando World Center Marriott, a mid-sized convention center with a single large hotel attached. This venue was incredibly loved by us as congoers because you basically never had to go outside in the Florida heat if you didn't want to, and if you did go outside, you were met with a myriad of photo shoot locations for cosplays, like the golf course, the pool, the bamboo, and the extremely popular and coveted rocks. But while this venue was amazing when Hallmat was small, in the last couple years the con outgrew the space, but more importantly, it seems like the hotel started hating the con, and didn't really care about the experience of the paying hotel guests that were also con goers. In 2019, we had the unfortunate experience of being in a room where construction was happening on the floor above us.
Why?
And when we complained to the hotel staff, they basically said, tough luck. But that was just hotel construction. Last year, the final year of Hallmat being at the World Center Marriott, the con itself faced the most egregious pushback from the hotel. Now, I don't entirely know if this is why this happened, but from my own speculation, I can assume that most of the grievances from last year were caused by the hotel, with the main one being that while normally anime conventions are held on weekends, last year Holiday Matsuri was forced to be held during the week. And I can only assume it's because the hotel hated them and didn't want to give them their coveted weekend dates, despite the fact that when the con is happening, the hotel rakes in money from people buying the chicken tenders at the pantry restaurant thing. Nonetheless, con-goers are loud as hell, stay in the lobby and crowded all day, and even yell off their hotel balconies at night, so I can see why the Marriott hated us. But when they announced that 2024 would be at the Orange County Convention Center, nobody really liked that either, for several very valid reasons, mostly caused by the fact that the OCCC is owned by the Florida government. And if you're the kind of person I hope you are, that should gross you out on its face. But it also poses a myriad of problems. For starters, the convention center has a hard close time of 8 p.m., and Holiday Matsuri is known for its 18-plus nighttime events and ordering Taco Bell at 3 a.m. while you're still in your She-Ra costume.
Why am I still in cosplay?
It's a late-night con, so I've been very curious to see how they deal with that. The AC is also supposed to suck, but it is really big, and they do have a big giant theater with a real stage with rising seating, a stage that I won't be on this year, by the way. There's no crying speech for this video, but I had to see what Hallmat could do without being held back by the Marriott, so we headed down to Florida to find out. So the OCCC has 4 hotels connected to it via Skybridge: the Hilton, the Rosen Twins, and the Hyatt Regency, which is where we were staying. We had gotten word that the Hyatt was the nicest one, but it was also serving as the official host hotel and would apparently have the nighttime events inside of it. But as we arrived, I had one thing I was looking for, one thing Hallmat wouldn't be the same without: a big Christmas tree. And I was immediately disappointed because there was a Christmas tree, but it was tiny. Plus, the door we came in led to this weird part of the lobby. This hotel's lobby is just weird and very labyrinthian, but we found our way to check-in and a slightly less disappointing tree and made our way up to the room, which is very nice. This hotel is pretty fancy, but most importantly, these rooms have giant tubs in them. But we went down to grab our badges, which was a little hard to find because the con's map does not include the maze-like part of the hotel, and there was no signage up for Hallmat yet, but there was a ton of signage up for a basketball event that was apparently happening on Saturday. There were also a lot of tall men walking around, but we found Reg, and luckily the line wasn't too crazy yet, but by the time we got ours, it had started to build up a little bit. But we made our traditional trip to Publix, ate some dinner, and I managed to get a present already.
So Pins texted me and was like, one of your patrons gave me a present for you. I think they said it was somebody named Vox. And then when we were looking for Reg, we ran into Pins and Snip. Pins just goes,
Okay. I want to carry this. Okay, thank you. Hi.
So this is my present. Oh, Joe. It's Bucket. Oh, it's Bucket's wheel. That is a deep cut. Is this a hat? I have a very, very large head. They may think I have a much smaller head. Look at me, Joe. Wait, I also might be dumb. It might be like a bag. I'm not sure, but it's for Bucket, my D&D character.
I had thought about going to explore a little bit more, but I am 30 now and my body hurts, so I unpacked one of my cosplays for the weekend. Yes, I made Penelope a bag large enough to pack her in, because I'm a professional. But then we just watched Don and went to bed. And Friday was Penelope Day, so I got into my belligerently inaccurate Regency gown and got ready to explore the new convention hall, which is really, really big. Like, holy moly. Like, we walked into the main area first, but we wanted to go to this Oliso iron cosplay contest. So we had to do a lot of searching and looking at signs and stuff because, again, the Hallmat maps were a huge failure in that the app says the name of the room for the OCCC, see? Like W224D or something like that, but then the actual con map just says like cosplay panels. So this was kind of hard to find. Good design is design that functions, not design that looks pretty. Anyway, we thought the Oliso Iron cosplay contest was gonna be like one of those things where they make people make cosplays really fast, but they were actually decorating iron covers, and it was a 10 a.m. panel, so it was fun, but it was very low energy.
Can you say your handle again louder?
Pepper like the fruit, insult, because I'm a dick.
I know
Wait,
you're really worried.
were you the one that was... Did you do the toad thing?
This is a crisis!
Though, for my fellow fans of old cosplay YouTube, yes, that is Patrick Bubblepop, and after years of going to Holiday Matsuri and knowing he was there, I finally got to tell him that I once knew him as the guy from Deja Vu's vlogs. But then it was time for lunch, and like most convention centers, the OCCC has these little food booths all over the place, and there were actually a lot more than I am used to seeing. But they are, of course, all overpriced convention center food. Like, I got a side of mac and cheese and a Gatorade, and it was $10, but it was good. And while somehow I missed this thing yesterday, I finally spotted the big, giant Christmas tree adorning the front entrance of the convention center, which wasn't crowded with photographers just yet, so I did get to take a few pictures in pen, but later, this thing was swarmed by people doing photo shoots. And by then, the crowd had increased quite a bit, and the dealer's room was open now, so we headed in.
Whoa! Joe! Big!
Segway. I have something to admit to you. I had another cosplay planned for Hallmat this year, and I didn't finish it! Heroes of Cosplay got caught in an extra week of content ID hell, so it wasn't due to poor planning. I actually planned it really well with Milanote, the sponsor of today's video. Milanote is a tool for organizing your creative projects, and it remains my favorite way not just to plan out a cosplay, I'm also planning out my wedding with it. I won't show you that massive board, but I will show you a time-lapse of my Patreon stream where I planned out my never-complete Saint Trina cosplay with my patrons. Milanote has tons of templates you can choose from to help you get started organizing all your essentials, but I like to start with a blank board so that I can be chaotic. But for larger projects like group cosplays or for me, my wedding board, I like to keep things in subboards and organize them by columns, so it's easier to keep track of where everything is. And with Milanote, it's so easy to keep your reference photos easily accessible. You can add to-do lists, and for this cosplay, I was trying to plan it out on a very tight timeline, so I also had a note in there where I was trying to calculate how long it would take me to do things. But the spreadsheets also mean you can keep your budgets right there, and as somebody who usually orders their fabric online, I like to keep all of my fabric links in one column, but once you've actually bought them, you can collapse the column and get them all out of the way. But if you like to shop for materials in person, the Milanote app makes it easy to keep all of the info you need right in your pocket. Plus, you can save your boards to PDFs and print them out. So you can also use Milanote as a reference sheet creator or even a build book creator for competitions. And the best part is it's totally free to sign up and there is no time limit on it being free. I really do make a Milanote board for every cosplay I make now. I'm literally using it to plan my wedding. And I know so many of you have already tried it and fell in love, but if you have not yet, check out the link in my description to sign up for a free account with no time limit, because I think you'll love it just as much as I do. Dun, 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 dun. And look, there's another Christmas tree, a giant inflatable inflatable one, but it's giant and I love it.
I went from I want to go night-night to chugging coffee. I'm at an anime convention.
We skipped the actual dealers at this point because I wanted to see if I could buy a physical copy of Yaya Han's book from her booth. So we walked all the way down to the artist alley only to find that, as you'd expect from the queen, she had a line that I wasn't willing to wait in. So we checked out the artists, but we didn't really even get to do that either because despite how large the convention center is, the artist alley walkways were extremely tight and it was crowded as hell. So it was impossible to even go look at stuff in some places. And from what I heard, business wasn't going too well for the artists that weekend, and I can only assume it's because you had to walk really far to even get to them, and once you got there, you could barely look at anything. It also looks like the con was aware of this problem because during the weekend they posted this, and I guess they were trying to get people to even go over there, but the problem was the crowding, not where they were. So we went back to the dealers section, and I found what is now a rarity in most dealers' rooms, an alpaca, which I bought. But then we discovered the really, really nice and intricate photo sets that they had put up, and I got a little clip in the Christmas one, and then somebody misidentified my cosplay.
What did that guy think we were?
People thought we were Paladin and Shalon, just from our bridge floor, and Penelope, which maybe Shalon wears a green dress at some point, I don't know. But she does have red hair.
I mean, I'm not wearing my gloves anymore. Which one is it? Is it my left hand or my right hand? Which one's the safe hand? This one?
I think it's the left hand.
But then we decided to check out what was going on in the Hyatt's convention center. Yes, the Hyatt also has a convention center attached to it, where apparently the nighttime and 18+ events were being held. But after we took the long trek to get over there, it was a ghost town. Yeah, I ended up never going there during the night. Again, I'm old, so I don't know if it ended up being a gathering place. Most of what I saw at night was people hanging out in the Tower 2 lobby and at the bar.
I don't think there's much over here right now.
But since nobody was there now, we headed up to the room for a nap.
Oh, there's another Christmas tree. 24-hour breakfast? Yeah. Ooh, that sounds nice. Oh, they got like cakes? They got like cakes and stuff? Beeline Diner? Oh, Infinite Joe's. Whoa.
With us kinda rested, it was time to head down to see the holiday runway, which my friends Pins and Snip and my friend Lux's now married spouse, Too Feral. Yep, remember those two? They got married. Anyway, they were all competing in it. And this was the first look we were going to get of the main event space, the Chaplin Theater. Though we were very confused about where to go for the line because the map says to wait on the 4th floor and the app has this whole paragraph about getting a wristband for zones. But we went to the 4th floor and found nothing but a good B-roll shot, and when we went to the door to ask about the wristbands, they just let us in. But you know what? This theater is beautiful. And while the LED screen wasn't the 3:1 aspect ratio beauty that we had 2 years ago, it was far and above the sad and small projector of 2023. But having raised seating in a real stage is just really cool. And the holiday runway was a little bit weird this year. Before the show, there was an unexplained, unannounced performance of what seemed to be a local dance school with some little babies coming to perform a little Christmas routine, and while it was very cute, it was never explained and would have worked a lot better as a halftime show during the judges' deliberations, but I'll complain about that in a minute. But the holiday runway itself serves as Holiday Matsuri's complement competition to the Winter Cosplay Championship, as while the WCC is a juried competition, meaning that you have to apply and be accepted to compete in it. Holiday Runway is a non-juried, no prejudging, walk-on only, casual contest where the only rule is that your cosplay has to be holiday or winter themed. So it's more for funsies and giggles and is a good way for people to get their feet wet in competing before moving on to the larger stakes competitions. But because of those low stakes, they apparently had like 20 people drop out, which led to a lot of this.
Of more jump from Hatsune Miku, colorful stage.
Woo! Or maybe not. 19, right? Brandon Rogers
numbers. No, it's not this one. Wait. What number are you?
I'm not making fun of this MC, by the way. I think he was actually really amazing at what he did, and I really liked him because one of the first things he said was, let's go off to the side here because this is not about us. It's about the contestants. And I really appreciate that mindset in an MC. Though, because it doesn't have prejudging, the judges have to go deliberate after seeing the walk-ons. So there's a break between the contestants and the awards, and while the two MCs did their best, there was no actual halftime show, and this is where those little dancers would have been more appreciated, because I was bored to tears. Not to mention that jester MC is Manuel de Andrea, who is an incredible performer, and while we did end up seeing him perform on Saturday, this was a missed opportunity, because they just did Mad Libs as a halftime show. But for the awards, for the third consecutive year in a row, Two Feral took home the Best Prop Award, and for the second non-consecutive year, Pins and Snip took home Best Team or Best Chemistry, and for Best in Snow, it was this amazing Radon and Leonard. But with that, it was time to take off Penelope.
It is comfy time, but I just want to point out that I think Joe got more compliments on his Bridge 4 shirt than I did on Penelope. Like, some people came up and were like, oh, are you Sarah? But very few people were like, oh, I like your Penelope cosplay. He got a lot more Bridge 4. But my hand, oh, scandalous. Oh.
The next thing to figure out was dinner. One of the things that became a hallmark tradition at the Marriott was the fries and chicken tenders you could get from the little pantry restaurant thing, and I swear to God, in 2017, the fries were like $2, and they went up in price over the years, but I have many memories of eating them, and that place was just a good spot for hot food. So I was glad to see that the Hyatt had some kind of hot grab-and-go place, but the prices were very far from those $2 fries. They in fact did not even have fries. This market thing is actually mostly a Starbucks with some other grab-and-go things. So we went to the Beeline Diner in hopes for breakfast for dinner, and my hopes were shattered because they did not in fact have 24-hour breakfast like we thought, but I did get an amazing BLT, and while these were fancy hotel prices, the food was at least worth the price. Like, this was the best BLT I've ever had.
What is that fabric? Is that Sherpa?
Yes.
Okay.
I think. I don't know, it was actually. Pins then offered Bec de Noir a variety of snacks in their room as if they were a salesman.
Some barbecue bites, a la chocolat, red kiwi, some lentils.
Those are tasty.
These are really good, by the way. Highly recommend.
The jingling.
I can make you a peanut butter and chocolate.
You got him. They're down. Referee, you're out.
I need chocolate chip cookies.
Bucky!
This is one of the best protein bars I've ever had in my life. This is one of the worst protein bars. Is that the same brand? Yes! They came in the same pack!
Why is there a hanger in your bathtub?
Because we were steaming our costumes earlier, and when I was taking it off, it fell, and I said we don't have time for this, and then it stayed in there. But yeah, use hot water to steam your costumes if you don't want to iron them.
Abradorable showed me a clip of people doing caramel dancing, and then we ended up walking through the pool for the first time while looking for people, and this is the only footage I got of the pool, so it's time to talk about it. So, I was excited about the Hyatt pool, because when I looked it up online, it looked like they had rocks. And it does have rocks, but from what I heard from a photographer friend, Alex or Ailey Studios, apparently they were not letting people take pictures with the rocks in the pool area, though apparently if you go behind the rocks, there is a small area with a sand pit where you can take pictures, but that's nothing compared to the 300 rock photo spots that the Marriott had, though Alex said that the Hilton, while very far from the main convention center, had the best photo spots, including bamboo, just like the Marriott had. But with rock dreams shattered, it was time for bed. Because we felt robbed of breakfast for dinner, we did go back to the diner for breakfast. And again, the food was pricey, but it was very good. I got Eggs Benedict.
The star of the show. Oh yeah.
And it was amazing. Plus the hash browns it came with were top tier. Like better than Waffle House, better than Cracker Barrel. These hash browns were amazing.
These are so good. I'm gonna die. This is also so good. I've never had a poached egg before.
But after breakfast was when I realized that the cotton dress I brought was still in my suitcase and hadn't been ironed yet, and as cotton does, it was very wrinkly. This dress was actually supposed to be the base layer of that St. Trina cosplay that I didn't finish. So it became a Christmas elf, but it's actually a full cotton version of the dress that I made for that awful Last of Us mushroom thing I did, which then became my go-to dress for the Ren Fair. Anyway, I headed over to the con to catch Sarcasm Hime's panel.
I made this dress again in cotton because the polyester linen one is warm, and this is in Florida, but it's cold.
But I did get to see the GOAT's panel on embellishments, and if you don't know who Sarcasm Hime is, I call her the greatest in the world because she's one of those cosplayers where every piece she puts together is just dripping in embellishments and intricate and beautiful techniques. I picked up a few tips from this panel and even heard that a few old favorites of mine are also loved by the GOAT, including Dynaflow, which I haven't used since Strawberry Miku, and apparently Sarcasm Hime's secret weapon is couching down cheap, sparkly craft cord. I even got to meet her and take a picture, and with her Canadian wisdom, she finally taught me how to correctly say voile. But with that, we headed up to Pins and Snips' room to gather our friends before the Winter Cosplay Championship.
You're a Grimace elf. We're Grimace elves. I'm under the
What did you just ask?
They brought a microwave.
Yeah.
To all that.
I don't remember what year it was, but there was a year I helped carry the microwave.
Cute cooker.
They always have that.
Hallmat, you need the microwave because you gotta make hot chocolate. I have a kettle. Do you want my kettle? No.
You own a kettle.
But you make hot chocolate with milk.
I mean, you're right. You're right. If I want a hot chocolate, I will use water, but I use water.
Unless it's the Ghirardelli. If it's the Ghirardelli doesn't have powdered milk in it. You have to use milk.
You have to use milk anyway.
It is
you
better
can take
with
this
milk.
as a quote.
But the Swiss Miss, I swear to God, the Swiss Miss has powdered milk in it.
No, you need
The
to
Swiss
use.
Miss has powdered milk in it. You don't.
Sarah is wrong.
And with a quick trip to my room to get my camera equipment, which involved a gross elevator ride.
We're in this elevator.
We're in. There's booze in the elevator.
I don't like this.
You don't have to. Don't stand in it. Come over here.
It's everywhere. I'm stepping in a puddle.
Oh.
It smells so bad in here.
There's alcohol in that one.
We went down to the dealer's room real quick to retrieve Beck's scissors from the Famore Cutlery booth. If you don't know, you can get your scissors sharpened at their booth. But on the way, we ran into an old friend.
Kelly, after all this time? What year is it, Kelly? I know. Blue still looks so good on you.
Do the turnaround thing. Yeah.
And happened to catch Novice Cosplay and Bird King in their competition cosplays before the show. But we got the scissors and checked out the giant plush iron at the Aliso booth.
Look at that. Did you see the big iron?
I want to.
I hope they get the meta joke that people at anime conventions do buy plushies of characters that size. Yes. And that they should be selling that. Yes.
And bolted to get in line. And the line was weird as hell. They had us line up near the theater, which made for great people watching, actually. I got a time lapse. But then instead of taking us the 20 feet from the line to the entrance, they took the entire line up the escalator, around the top floor, then down the other escalator and into the theater. It was weird. I figured it was for crowd control, but when they did this, the line cut people off from using the upper escalator, and you could visibly see how annoyed people were with this. I'd also like to apologize to a couple people who called out to me both while in line and after getting seated in the theater, because they knew who I was, but I had to say no to attention because I have a one-track mind and needed to figure out what was going on in the line, because again, the app had all this stuff about wristbands, but then this time they wouldn't just let us in. Anyway, in the future, if you see me with a large camera or this green bag, feel free to ask if I am Sarah Cameraman instead. Sarah Spaceman is glad to take a picture with you. Sarah Cameraman needs to line up her remaining brain cells to get the right frame rate to shutter speed ratio to get slow-mo footage of the contestants while minimizing the LED strobing, which I did better than the official Hallmat videographers, apparently. But we made it in and got a great seat to see the Winter Cosplay Championships skits. Yeah, just the skits, because this year they split the WCC into 2 days, skits on Saturday and walk-ons and awards on Sunday, which I thought was really weird when I first heard that they were doing that, but then if someone's sitting in the audience, this was actually a really good idea, because the skits take a long time, and that means that the contest doesn't take several hours of one day. It's good for the contestants too, because then they don't have to wait as long sitting there in their cosplays. Anyway, as always, the WCC skits delivered, and I just have to gush about how good Novice Cosplay and Bird King's skit was. Here's the biggest, most important thing about a skit, and this should tell you everything you need to know about a good one. I have no idea what these characters are from. I still don't know, but I could follow the story of the entire skit. This girl goes into the forest and makes deals with the devil. She gets tricked and has to walk out of the forest without turning around. If she turns around, the devil will take both her soul and her friends. Her friend is behind her, but she can't hear her because magic. And she gets fed up and turns around.
No! Elise, what have you done?
But just as Elise turned around, fate intervened. A butterfly landed right on her nose, shielding Elise's eyes from Freya.
Freya, if you can hear me, let's make it out together.
This time it seems they prevailed.
So good! Look at the way they used the space, the way they walked. They weren't just walking, they had choreographed steps to the music, even down to their exit being skipping off the stage. And look at the lantern in her hand when she turns around, continuing that motion so that it appears to the audience as well, and also goes with the motion of the butterflies. Every little moment was thought out, perfectly executed, and the cosplays themselves are fantastic. Like, that's the most common pitfall with cosplay skits, is assuming that the audience will get the inside jokes or know the source material. They chose a deep cut and knew that they had an uphill battle, but they absolutely nailed it. I also really loved Red Leaf Cosplay's Baldur's Gate skit for its really effective props, Cottonmouth Cosplay's really beautifully done traditional dance, Rachel Sinnis and Rosemary Maiden's 6 skit. I haven't seen 6, but this made me want to. Alpaca Ash and Omitsuki skit for their wig reveal, and Bassett Cosplays for some wonderful pleats and a little bit of text on a path. And that was WCC Day 1. Again, awards wouldn't be until tomorrow, but I was really happy about that at this point, because I needed to pee. So I did that and headed back to the hotel room to change.
Look at this very blurry woman. Why did they print a very blurry woman on the elevator door? Why would they do that? Oh, infinite L's.
But we wanted to go down again to find food, but the elevator had other plans for us.
Are we trapped? They took a while to get to me from downstairs, but I can't even get them to light up.
We went up and the buttons wouldn't light up, and then Joe pointed out that you couldn't really hear the elevators running.
You want to go down a floor?
I mean, we can hear the elevators are not moving. You can hear them going up, down, ding, ding. Nothing. They're not working. Sounds like people are trapped in them.
So we theorized that there might be a group of people trapped in the elevator, which honestly is one of my biggest fears. I would really not like to be trapped in an elevator in an anime convention. So we sat there listening, trying to hear what was going on. I looked at the map to see if there was another way down other than the stairs. There was not.
Should I call the front desk?
But then, when all seemed lost,
Are the elevators down?
the ding-dings came back.
Alright, hit the button now.
What did she say?
It's AI thing, but they're moving again.
Oh, it wasn't even a person? Yeah, they're moving. But do we trust them now? That was weird. Hey, were y'all trapped in the elevator?
Yeah.
You were?
Where's your Spaceman?
They were all
Sorry,
broken on the
I have to go
bottom.
pee.
They're on the bottom.
Dude, your Miko last year,
Yeah, they're all trapped on the bottom.
They are trapped on the bottom? Because it wouldn't let us hit the buttons and they weren't moving.
I guess someone hit the recall button and like shut all the elevators off.
Nice.
Oh!
Now they're working again.
Okay, they're on.
So we made it down, but we didn't want to eat at the diner again, and we weren't really interested in anything in the market, so we went back over to the convention center, not realizing that it was already 8 p.m. and that nothing was open. Though, I was under the impression that everyone gets kicked out at 8, because I've heard that that happens at MegaCon, which is also held here, but people were still around, and the escalator was broken now. But we went back up to the room to order pizza, but now the elevator had a trash can in it. But that was Saturday.
I brought a Lolita coordinate for today, but I'm trying to decide if I even want to put it on. Do I just want to not put on makeup today?
I ended up deciding that I would compromise in that I would put on makeup, but not contacts. And I did put on Sugar Dream Dome, but I realized I had limited arm movement, which I was going to need to get nice shots of the costume contest today, so I became my Survivor original character. I was on red team at the start, but this is my merge buff, which is why it's a different color than my outfit. But then I went out at fire making, but I was so cool and awesome that Jeff Probst gave me his hat.
Ah, the Sunday vibes. The quiet Sunday vibes.
No basketball.
Basketballers are gone. I saw some of them like in here.
But we headed over early enough to take another look through the artist alley.
Still broken.
Which was both a good and bad idea because early Sunday means most people are checking out, so there wasn't much of a crowd anymore, but it also meant that several booths were closed because those artists were probably also still checking out.
Did you see the giant iron? But also had no idea the giant iron was being loomed over by a giant beaker.
And while we had picked up our 18 plus wristbands on Thursday, we literally had never used them the entire weekend, but we'd wandered near the 18 plus area of the artist alley and figured we might as well get a single use out of those things. And I can't show you this area, but I can tell you that we were 12 years old and we were giggling.
Literally the only thing we used these for.
I had also thought about getting Hallmat's official merch, but the merch this year was literally the same as last year, and not like they used the same design. This shirt literally still says 2023, but I wanted a new sweatshirt, so I spent that budget at Sugar Bubba's, and I'll show you that later, because it was time to get in line for WCC Day 2. And we got in line way too early because when we got in, the theater was nowhere near full. We could have just showed up when it started, honestly. But yeah, what the hell, Hallmat attendees? You aren't excited to see the largest international cosplay competition qualifier in the entire United States of America? Let me just say, Hallmat is incredibly different now. But this contest is still one of the best run, fairest, and most prestigious in our country. In my mind, as a competitive cosplayer, this contest is the biggest reason to keep coming back to Hallmat. There may be no more rock photos, the $2 french fries may be gone. They've been long gone. But the Winter Cosplay Championship still slaps.
Look at the peplum! Look at the peplum! The sleeves! The wig! It's so good!
And oh my god, the judges this year. I was freaking out just to get to see these people in person, okay? We got Shima of Twin Cosplay's Grand Champion of World Cosplay Summit 2015. Now, Shima's been a judge at Hallmat before. I've seen Shima before. The thing that had me really excited was that the winner of the Central Crown Champion, God, they added another word and I don't know how to say that. Crown's U.S. Regional Champion, the GOAT, Sarcasm Hime, is a judge. And the guy that defeated the GOAT at the international level, Matthew Berry, and the current reigning world champion of the Central Crown Championships of Cosplay. On top of that, they also had Spicy Tie Designs, who's done work on movies, Kizuki Cosplay, who's done costume work on also movies, but also musicals, including 6, and a former World Cosplay Summit Team Japan and current organizer for Team Japan, Fran. Come on, if I was into sports and I didn't disapprove of gambling, this would be my sports bet team. These are some of the most qualified and talented cosplayers on the planet. earth. So again, Sunday was walk-ons only, which means these people are just competing for craftsmanship, not performance. And there were some amazing builds in here, like Abradorable hand-tied that hair onto that thing. Look at that. This Sakizo was incredible. This Sakizo was apparently scented, and I swear to God, I could smell it in the audience. If you want to see all of Winter Cosplay Championship from the weekend, my friends Pins and Snip actually recorded the entire thing and posted all of it on their YouTube channel already, so you can go subscribe to them if you want just raw footage of costume contests, which I wish more cons would post. It's actually kind of a problem that no one documents these things and then we never see them again. Anyway, for the awards, there were 25, so I'll just tell you who got the international trips. Abradorable and Charbandicos are going to Japan, Novice Cosplay and Bird King are going to Korea, and Naruto ran up the stage. I called this, by the way. I said they were gonna get the G-Cough, and I called it. Cottonmouth Cosplay will be going to Sweden.
They will love that in Sweden.
And the new Team USA going to the Extreme Cosplay Gathering in Paris is Chikupi, who we love and who was Team USA for NCC last year and took home 3rd place when she went. They also had a special award for the Queen as well.
We want you to come to Holiday Matsuri to have the best of everything. And one of the reasons why we can do that, sorry, I'm gonna cry, that's our chat here. One of the reasons we can do that is because of a woman on the stage today. Miss Yaya Han. I was in so many meetings this year for business to bring, sponsorship to bring the amazing, incredible prizes to the stage today. And the reason I could go on the stage and have these, or go to these meetings is literally because of you. So it is my pleasure to give you the very first Cosplay Lifetime Achievement Award.
And at this point, I was brain dead because I had not eaten yet. So I got a $7 hot dog and went back up to the room to prove how many shonen animes I haven't seen.
Lovely.
I gotta be honest, I don't know who this is, and I'm pretty sure one of these is a Bleach boy, but I've not f***ing seen Bleach. I'll tell you, I don't like this one. Deku, you're fine. You're great. Juju Gugu, we love you. Tanjiro, precious baby boy. I still haven't even seen the Train movie. Don't know who the you are. We love Naruto. I've only ever seen the openings. Dragon Ball has a special place in everyone's heart. One Piece is too long. Not seen Hunter x Hunter, but I mostly bought it for my fucking boy, my boy, the anime that got me into cosplay, Full Metal Alchemist. My baby boy. Oh, this one is Haikyuu.
Oh, then he's Bleach.
That's Haikyuu. Then you have to be.
That makes sense because that's the old anime.
Is this from Bleach?
That's the old anime sleeve.
Oh, old and new, I get it, okay. And that's just Haikyuu. And I haven't seen Haikyuu either.
By now, the con was coming to a close, so we checked out the game room for a minute, and I thought about playing this crane game, but decided it wasn't worth. But we went back into dealers for a bit, and well, this happened.
It's a Vera cosplay getting feet pics.
I got shoes.
Alrighty.
Those are fun.
Dude, they're empty rings.
The goat.
But yeah, oh God. Are you good?
I need you to know, I was filming.
Please put that in your vlog.
I will. Crocs. Winning Crocs. Winners wear Crocs.
These are my horse girl charms too. And I got Garfield because I don't want to go back to Monday tomorrow. But oh no, I look like a wet now.
We didn't explore Artist Alley much more because the crowd had picked up and those tiny walkways didn't seem worth it.
Okay, if that's the VTuber staves, are the VTubers back there? Is that where they keep them? Nobody's. Well, there's a guy back there. There's just two dudes back there running the tech.
But I did finally find a Christmas present for my sister in the form of this Kirby made of rose quartz. We saw a terrible, horrible cosplay on the way out and finally got a picture with the sign, thanks to a friendly Spider-Man cosplayer.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
And that was my haul mat.
What?
Overall, it's incredibly different than it used to be. And in some ways it's good, in some ways it's bad. One of the things we honestly missed the most was the food trucks. We got no legendary ice cream coffee this year. No pineapple pizza, no 10 p.m. taco truck. The food options were absolutely the most limited thing this year, and we really could have used those trucks. So I would say if you are going to go to Home At next year, bring a rice cooker or a microwave or a kettle or something for your room, because if you don't, you're going to be spending a lot of money on your meals. Though I will say if you're at the Rosen Plaza, there is a Denny's right there, if you like Denny's. And everything was so spread out, which in some ways that's good because it means that there's less crowd density, and it means that you can easily find a quiet spot at the con with little to no people. But sometimes you want to be where the people are, and in a new place, it's hard to find where people are gathering. But I do really like the theater for main events. The dealer's room was huge, though I do not understand why the artist tables were so close together. There was a lot of space wasted on the lines for the Hall of Fame people. Like, they could have easily made that space smaller, timed out when the famous people would be there, and given more of that space to the artist. And while the Hyatt lobby is a confusing maze, it is a nice hotel with nice rooms with huge bathtubs. Though, I still have no idea if anyone ever went to the convention center part of it. And honestly, the most inconvenient thing about the con overall was its dates this year, which I didn't really think about until we were faced with the incredibly crowded Orlando airport 2 days before Christmas. I don't know if they've released next year's dates yet, but I hope it can be less close to Christmas. But yeah, Home At is different now. It doesn't look the same as it was, but it does feel the same to me. The events like Winter Cosplay Championship are still incredible and important, and while I am too old and sleepy to go to the nighttime events, they are still there, and I can tell that the people running this thing care about putting on a great show. Unlike another con that just had a venue change that I didn't attend a week prior to this one that I will complain about one day because AWA clearly doesn't give a flying f. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon where you'll get some exclusive content. But if you're just watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sending the video to a friend of your mom, or subscribing, then you're supporting the channel too. So thank you, and I think it's 2025 now when I'm releasing this, so thank you so much for all your support over the last several years. I say it in every video, thank you for watching, but I just want you to know, no matter if you're a patron or you're just watching or you liking and watching and commenting really does help the video so much. So thank you to all of those people for always showing up and showing love and just watching. Thank you for supporting me in doing all of these things. I felt like I needed to give an extra thank you because I had to ignore several people that wanted to meet me at Home At this year because I was not an official guest and there was not an appropriate place for me to do that at some times. So, but I feel like I owe y'all the world for letting this be my career. So thank you for watching. Sorry if I didn't get to say hi to you at Home At, or if I might have been short with a couple people that came up when I had the big camera out because I really cannot talk when I'm trying to do exposure. Anyway, the biggest thank you to my newest big support tier patrons: Cinnamon Bun Cosplay, Cave, Raska the Scene, Jason, Jane, Connie, Alexa, Awaji Monkey, Cinnabee, Kaya, Kirkland, Kiwi Nuggets, Ashy, Leonie, Francie, Weevil Genius, Bramby, Trash Boat, Yami, X Akuma, and Mothball. Thanks for watching. Bye!